Ben McKee and Patrick Brown of GoVols 24/7 here on campus of Monday of Alabama Week. Tennessee right back into a significant rivalry game, and boy does it feel odd with Alabama coming to town in the manner that it is after losing to Vanderbilt and narrowly beating Vanderbilt. Tennessee, of course, South Carolina. Thank you. Tennessee has plenty of things to clean up, like I have plenty of things to clean up as well. But first things first, some very unfortunate news that we figured was going to happen. But Keenan Pili does have a torn ACL. Josh Heupel just confirmed to the media, and he will miss the remainder of the season. Obviously, a huge blow for Tennessee in many regards. Significant leader on this team, wore the green dot on the back of his helmet to communicate the signals and calls and plays on defense. Just a very, very big loss for Tennessee.
Yeah, and just a guy that, I mean, he's only been here for less than 2 years, and people just talk glowingly about him, just about the way that he carries himself, the professional mindset. Of course, he's 26 and married, so he's a little bit older than a lot of his younger teammates, but just a guy who comes to work every day and cares more about other people than himself. That's something you always hear, something that Josh Heupel said after the game Saturday night, said again today. And so it's tough on a human level to see a guy that, he's been in college since 2016, to see his career end like this, and you kind of maybe saw some of those emotions right after he got hurt the other night too. But it's an opportunity for the other linebackers to have to step up, and I think fortunately for Tennessee, that is a position where they have played a lot of guys. Even going back to last season with Brian Jean-Marie, they were playing 4 guys. He played all the young guys last season, and William Minge has done the same thing. So Jeremiah Thielander is midway through his sophomore season, but he's played a lot of football. Arion Carter obviously has played a lot this season. And then just even played guys like Jalen Smith and Caleb Perry have been getting regular snaps. They're not playing a ton, but they were thrust in there the other night, and they're going to continue to get opportunities. So this is a position group that, I mean, they didn't play without Pili. They played without Pili last season. So this is not necessarily new territory for Tennessee's defense, and they're going to need those young linebackers. And it kind of feels weird saying they're young because they've played a lot of football because they played them. So they're going to need a couple sophomores to play older, and I think Thielander is going to be the main communication guy with the green dot helmet. That was something that Pili did. So Thielander is going to maybe take over that role. They may do it with Arion too, but Thielander is going to be the main guy, and he's going to be the main player that steps up into the starting lineup and plays a lot more with Pili out.
On offense, Tennessee needs to take a step forward this week. Really, everybody on offense, every position unit on the field. Josh Heupel was asked several questions about Nico Iamaleava and where his confidence is at right now. I asked him about the deep balls and maybe why the 3 on Saturday were not hit, and he talked about Nico needing to make a throw. There's maybe Square White can bend his route a little bit differently to help Nico out. So just a lot of fine details within those incomplete deep balls, but that also the fine details aspect of it is really bleeding into the offense as a whole. It's just Josh Heupel continues to maintain that they're not far off. He said that they have guys who have been successful before and have guys that are capable of being successful. But it's just the fine details and everybody playing as one, especially along the offensive line, but also him feeling confident and Nico maintaining confidence going forward as well. He's a young quarterback, and then Hooker wasn't perfect. Nico's not going to be perfect, even though everybody expects him to be.
Yeah, and Heupel sounded kind of, I don't want to say defeated, but very frustrated after the game the other night. He sounded a little bit more sunshiny, I guess. He sounded more like hey, it's not. We got a chance. We've got guys. We got the right guys. We're doing the right things. I mean, there's only so many guys you can scheme open before some of those plays hit. I mean, it's like a 3-point shooting team. If you keep shooting them, eventually they're going to fall. That's the law of averages,
so.
Right? But that, and to Heupel's point, I mean, it was a second straight game of just, if it wasn't this unit or player that was off, it was that one. They adjusted, they rolled him out more. I think 10 pass plays, 10 dropbacks that he had were rollouts. So they got him on the move to get him away from worrying about the protection and worrying about blitzes and things like that. And they had guys open down the field, just missed him. The offensive line still has to play better. I think Heupel said that there's times where 4 of them are right, but if one's wrong, then a play breaks down either in pass protection or in the run. So he makes it sound like they're not far off, but if you keep being just a little bit off, it's 2 games in a row now, and you could argue 3 if you want to go into Oklahoma, but at some point you kind of are what you are. But Tennessee still has to find ways to get, as Heupel says, everybody being right at the same time. And if they do that, I mean, look out. I mean, if they complete 2 of those deep balls that were missed, that game is very different on Saturday night. So If you're trying to be an optimist about this offense, that's the view you can take, and you just got to see what it looks like against Alabama, who has had its own issues defensively as well.
It has. Last thing we'll touch on today, Alabama quarterback Jalen Milroe. He is going to be a fun cover for this Tennessee defense this weekend. Obviously, you have one explosive athlete in Milroe, but you have another explosive athlete, as well as others. But the two top ones, obviously, Jalen Milroe and Ryan Williams, who, I don't know if you know this, but is 17 years old.
Is he?
Think so. Maybe 16.
Where'd you get that?
Alabama. But they don't know how to count down there, so his birth certificate may be a little screwy.
Yeah, you just left that open for me. So
Jalen Milroe, how tough is that going to be?
It's tough, but I mean he's been a little turnover prone the last couple of games. So and Alabama can go from lighting Georgia up in 20 minutes to struggling in much of the second half of that game. So both these teams have been so up and down that you just you don't know which team is going to get more right the quickest this week. So that's what makes this game intriguing. It wouldn't surprise me, probably wouldn't surprise you, Ben, if it was a little bit like Saturday night, where it's kind of a little frustrating at times, but exciting at times. Teams making mistakes, teams not giving each other a chance to go take control of the game, the other team not taking it. So these teams are and that's what makes a rivalry game fun. So we'll have to see what it's going to be like. But yeah, Milroe is a game changer, and obviously I think if you're Tennessee, he's the guy that you got to try to stop first and try to make him a passer and see if he will maybe throw you an interception or two like he has the last couple weeks.
Absolutely. We've got plenty of coverage of all things Tennessee football up at the site at GoVols247.com. Continued reaction to the win over Florida and plenty of preview content coming your way as Tennessee prepares to host the third Saturday in October. He's Patrick Brown. I'm Ben McKee.